just go straight into it. I guess I do. Welcome to Drink Coffee and Talk Planes. My name is Richard. Please like and subscribe. That's, kind of one of those things. And now for some tidbits. I'm actually doing the year 1994. And weirdly, there was a lot of stuff. And so, I talk about planes, but in amongst millions of other things that happened in 1994. So welcome to 1994, and please welcome to our newly minted country, Palau. I'm hoping I'm saying that's right. P-A-L-A-U, Palau. Sorry, forgive me. Someone correct me in the comments. Russia withdraws all troops from Estonia and Latvia in the Baltic states in 1994. Who knew? There you go. Baltic states released from the Soviet Union. On July the 8th, Kim Jong-il Sung of North Korea dies of a heart attack on the 8th of July 1994. So this is quite an intense year. Anyway, don't worry, there is plane content. I just got really sidetracked learning about 1994 again. I mean, I was alive, I was working. Yeah, I was working, doing all that stuff in 1994. But anyway, let's carry on. On December the 17th, 1994, a US Army OH-58 Kiowa reconnaissance helicopter is shot down by North Korea 5 kilometers north of the DMZ. A US Chief Warrant Officer was killed in the crash. I believe later on in the month, I think we're still in 1994, they released the survivors. I think maybe there was one or two others. Yeah, who they released back across the DMZ, back to the United States military. The United States of America extend China's favoured trading status for another year. There you go, favoured trading status for China in 1994. President Clinton, I would have said that was under. Right. I should know some of the stuff I read not long ago. So this pretty confident was Clinton. Right. In April the 26th, for the first time, so this is 1994, in South Korea. For the first time in South Korea, the people of all races get to vote in a general election, ending almost 300 years of minority white rule, or apartheid as we knew it, outside of South Africa. So there you go. Yeah, 1994 just keeps cranking out these big events in history. Right. The 37th President of the United States of America, Richard Nixon, dies of a stroke on April the 22nd, 1994. Right. Also in 1994, Ukraine begins shipping nuclear warheads to Russia for dismantling. Ukraine has pledged to yield all 1,600 to 1,800 warheads to Russia to be dismantled, for the assurances of sovereignty by the United States, United Kingdom, and Russia. Yeah, so that's kind of relevant to stuff that's going on now. Okay, also in 1994, a 6.8 magnitude quake centered 32 kilometers northwest of Los Angeles causes massive damage. President Clinton signs an $8.6 billion relief bill to assist the state of California with the recovery. Huge earthquake there, and the damage to all the bridges and motorways and all the things there. So, terrible sort of damage that can be caused. Also, we're still in 1994, hard to believe. O.J. Simpson is charged with the murder of his wife Nicole and his friend Ronald Goldman. Yeah, so a lot of stuff, I was just thinking about how much of history, when I think about it, seems to weirdly be in 1994. Right, on March the 23rd, 1994, in Siberia, a Russian Airbus A310 impacts a hillside and explodes after a pilot's teenage son and daughter flew the plane while the pilot and co-pilot visited with the passengers on board. I believe I watched the whole thing on Air Crash Investigation or Mayday or whatever the other, the so many seconds before disaster or whatever it is, just before disaster. Yep, not sure. Anyway, to coffee in my hands this time. I'll be a bit more diplomatic about coffee. I've made myself a cappuccino, but I have had this coffee black. I've had it as an Americano, I've had it as a long black, and I've had it as an espresso. Yeah, it's an interesting coffee. This is, if you live in New Zealand, one that seems to be available at the warehouse. Don't know how well you can see it there. It's a single origin Colombian. Yeah, quality small batch coffee. I'm not sponsored by these people, by the way. I don't have any association with them. I'm purely reviewing coffee in the sense of just trying it, tasting it, I say. It's a medium to dark roast. It's actually better as black coffee, I find, than as a milk drink. For some reason, the milk sort of, in this particular style, or the way they've done their roast, it seems to bring out the off notes or the very bitter things to it, which is unusual. You normally sort of have milk with it to sort of hide those sorts of flavours. It really does alter the flavour of it. It's pleasant, but it's yeah, black, definitely better black. In fact, I quite enjoy it as an Americano. Actually, seem to get the best results. Where it sort of took the edge off it, because it is quite a strong flavour, quite bitter. So anyway, not bad, very cost effective if you want proper coffee. So yeah, definitely worth a look. Right, now back to it. Okay, I sort of tried to shuffle these up so I'd sort of blend between history / aircraft, because I'm a big fan of history as well. I really love aviation, but I got really sidetracked on the history thing because I didn't realise how many crazy things happened in 94. 3rd of January 1994, a Russian Tu-154 jetliner with one engine on fire crashes in a field on takeoff. I believe it had just got up off the ground. I don't know if I've seen this on any documentaries. It's probably out there somewhere. Yeah, an engine fire, obviously, lost power on takeoff and then slid into a field. So, not great. Right. Sweden is to join the European Union after Finland and Austria had also chosen to join the EU earlier in 1994. So there you go. Right. Interesting aviation facts of 1994. A proposed merger of Lockheed and Martin Marietta. Northrop buys Grumman and makes a move to buy Vought Aircraft Company. So this is obviously all historical, 94. McDonnell Douglas almost declares bankruptcy in 1992, but bounces back by cutting its workforce by 50%. And then decides to collaborate with Boeing on projects. At the same time, the Russian Tu-204 gets Rolls-Royce power plants, engines, and the Aleutian IL-96 will stay on hold. Remember, this is all 1994. Right. The International Air Transport Association see recovery coming in 1994 after its 224 airline members suffer 5 years of poor performance. Wow, so it's interesting times. But luckily, it looks like it's bouncing back in 94. Western Aerospace start to climb out of the worst cyclical downturn due to the increase in mergers and cooperation embraced by companies around the world to service and to survive and consolidate. Sorry, not service. It's the name of the game in 1994 to 1995. Yep, and as you see there before, obviously one of the really big ones that we kind of sort of forget about is, we call it Lockheed Martin now and don't even think about it. But Lockheed and Martin Marietta, I have to stop doing that, and Northrop buying Grumman, and then of course the Vought Aircraft Company. Yeah, so lots of changes as they, consolidate. Back to coffee again. Prices soar. Frost damage in Brazil. Prices climb above 85 cents per pound, and to top it off, there is a drought that follows in Brazil, which of course ruins, at the time, the largest producer of coffee. Right, on May the 19th, 1994, Jackie Onassis, or Kennedy, passed away from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and was buried in Arlington Cemetery at her request beside John F. Kennedy. Right, I'm gonna move these two to the back because they're much more influential on me, and in fact, one of them explains my attire a little bit. July the 2nd, 1994, the United States, a US Air DC-9 crashes during a thunderstorm while on approach to Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Wind shear was cited as the cause of the incident. I believe I've also seen that on Air Crash Investigation, or at least one in that vein. Right, 1994 films. We had The Lion King, we had Forrest Gump, and we had Natural Born Killers. I mean, I'm just listing three of the ones that definitely would stand out to people. And in 1994, the world population was 5,600,000,000 people, roughly, which is a lot less than there is now, to be honest. Right, I'll just back the truck up here. For us Kiwis, and this is a big one for me, I got a bit sort of teary-eyed thinking about this. March the 26th, 1994, Dame Fine Cooper passes away, remembered and missed by the people of this land. Rest in peace, Dame Fine Cooper. Right, US fur sales, you see, I'm going to throw in random facts, so that's, kind of my thing. US fur sales increased 10% to about $1.4 billion. Mink sales pick up a strong demand with about 20 million pelts on the international market and about a 43% average price increase. It's just, I threw it in there because it's one of those things we don't think about anymore in 2025, that fur sales were a really big part of economies and sales and things like that. We were still, fur trading. So on a large scale. I was going to pick another one of these more sort of obscure products that were still in large use in 1994, but I just went with furs at this point in time to show how much things had sort of changed over time. Now, I was trying to figure which one to end on, but I'm going to do it this way around. On April the 5th, 1994, in Seattle, Washington, the poet of Generation X, Kurt Cobain, passed away, and his body was discovered on April the 8th, 1994. And I have decided not to, obviously, bring in how he passed away or any of that sort of stuff, but I was a fan of his music, but even if you weren't, you at least knew of him, you knew the impact he'd had on society and on Gen X, which is my generation, as we grew up. And it's just a shame to see that sort of thing in such a young guy with so much potential and so much talent, what he could have achieved. And he achieved so much, and then to think what could have come after. And I'm not going to get into the details or anything. I'm not, a music specialist. I didn't know him any of that sort of stuff I just grew up around his music and influence. So anyway, 1994, Kurt Cobain. So a lot of, really influential and really important people and really diverse people, it's just so many things. It's just weird to think one year had so many events, but then when you actually start looking at years individually, there are so many things that happen within that year. But to end on this, on December the 24th, Air France Airbus A300 on a flight between Algiers and Orly, planned for a flight between Algiers and Orly Airport in France. On December the 26th, after 3 passengers, whoa, that makes no sense. I should read this one more carefully. On December the 24th, 1994, an Air France Airbus 300 was hijacked. That's the key piece of information you should have heard at the beginning. Which was bound for a flight between Algiers and Orly Airport in France. On December the 26th, after 3 passengers were killed, French commandos stormed the aircraft and killed the 4 hijackers on board. They also, I believe, located explosives. I don't know the finer points of this. I haven't done research on the individual incident, but they discovered an amount of dynamite on the plane after they searched the aircraft after they'd rescued the passengers, and I believe the plan was that they were going to either blow up the aircraft over Paris or like blow it up, in a key area over Paris, basically, was the plan with the explosives. So, as far as I was aware, in this very sort of brief summary, 1994, an absolutely incredible year. The Dame Fine Cooper thing caught me out a little bit because I actually didn't think it was that long ago. You sort of lose track of time as you get older, and it's just so many things in one year. Jackie Onassis as well. Such these are figures of history that we think about, and Kurt Cobain, obviously, and there were so many others, and obviously Richard Nixon, and we, in New Zealand, I guess in particular, we know him from Futurama, which, I'm not sure how we'd feel about that, but it's just incredible to think in one year there was so many things that occurred, so therefore I got sidetracked a lot away from aviation, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun looking at history. I know I'm very much summarising on cards, as you can see here, the history, but obviously I'm trying to make it condensed and quick, and just to remind people of the stuff that happened years and years gone past. And yes, in general my focus is sort of aviation because it's something I'm passionate about, but also I do get interested about the things we forget about that happened. The fact South Africa got to vote for the first time in 1994, which is a long time ago, but also not that long ago. So a lot of these things are very fresh for people and very much things in people's memory in recent time. And you should also think, in particular all the stuff around Ukraine at the moment, they were the 3rd biggest nuclear armed country in the world, I believe, or close, or 3rd or 4th, when they gave up their entire nuclear stockpile, to basically guarantee the sovereignty of their borders, which, I didn't even, plan to be talking about Ukraine in this video, and yet there it was. It just happened to be in the year 1994. So, I'm just randomly picking the years. 94, quite interesting. I'd forgotten that Kurt Cobain had passed away that year. It was, just all these things. And that's the thing, that's why I find it interesting. You forget, it just becomes fuzzy and the details sort of get lost in time about all these things that have happened that have got you to 2025 now. And I just found some of these things really interesting. Obviously, I'm not going into the finer detail of these things. I'm just highlighting certain points and picking out random facts from history. Obviously, the fur thing, I was just to throw a curveball in there. And to show how much society's changed, or the way the world's changed. And I hope to do a lot more of this sort of weird history highlights, but also intermingled with aviation and coffee information and bits and pieces, just to make it interesting, because there's a lot of very sort of in-depth channels and things like this, but this is like, hey, if I just hopefully get some facts, hopefully learn some new things, or discover some things, or perhaps sparks you to maybe look into detail about that particular thing, just because they're like, oh, that's random, yeah, I might have a look that up. But anyway, thank you for your time, thank you for watching. Just have a wonderful time, a wonderful life, and really enjoy yourselves. Hope everything's going well. Cheers. Oh, and I've got to remember how to stop my own videos when I come to the end. Thank you very much.